This is my giant yarn wall. You can choose to unsee that if you would like. Hey, welcome to my office. Come on in. Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Sabrina and I am the owner of Stuffies, and I make cute chunky knit stuffies and DIY kits and video tutorials to share with all of you. Today I wanted to bring you along with me as I give you a tour of my office. This is definitely something that I've been wanting to do for a long time, and I feel like now is the perfect time to do it. We just recently, and we being my husband and I, just cleaned up my office because we are getting ready for something really special that is to come next month. I'm really excited to share with you what that is within the next few videos, but I won't be sharing that with you here today. I'm excited to give you an official tour of my office. This office has been such a special spot for me as I have grown into it. So this office is actually a guest bedroom as well. We don't have friends and family very often, but when we do have them stay in my office. And then at one point it actually used to be my son's nursery as well when he was little. So this space has been very special for me for the past few years. It is the first official office of Stuffies, and it has been quite the journey to kind of get it here with all of the different supplies and yarn and shelves and everything else that you will see in this video. So it's taken quite a few years to get it to the place to where it is now, but I'm excited to walk you into each little corner of my office. My office here has definitely served its purpose over the past few years, but I am for sure outgrowing this space very quickly, as you'll see once I get to the storage closet in this office. But hopefully that gives you a little bit of a hint of what's maybe to come in the future videos. I'm excited to bring you along on that journey once it's time for that announcement to come. But for now, I hope you enjoy the office tour. Okay, so obviously over here we've got the door, the entrance to the office, and then we've got a corner just full of different kind of storage stuff. If you've been here for any type of time, I'm sure you have seen this yarn wall. Again, more storage, the guest bed, of course, also my knitting bed. And then if you come over here, we've got my desk, the tripod that I'm obviously using to record this video, storage closet, and another beautiful yarn wall. So this is the first corner of my office. This is what you kind of see as soon as you walk in. I would say that this is definitely my most chaotic corner of my office, but it definitely has its purpose. So starting up here, we have the picture of a Highlander cow. So when I originally bought it, it was pretty much meant for it to be in the guest room, which we are technically in the guest bedroom, but it of course has been converted mainly into my office. So I've just kept it there. I think at some point I will be replacing it to something more fitting for my office, but for now, we've got a Highlander cow in my office. And I guess it fits in some ways because I do now have a Highlander stuffy cow, so I think that works maybe a little bit. But honestly, the Highlander cow is also my favorite animal, so that is why I have a giant picture of it. So there's that. And then over here, we've just got lots of different bins and cabinets and all of that, which all serve their own little purpose. But I'll now take you up close so you can see what's in everything. So this cabinet right here is very much my miscellaneous cabinet. So in here I just have, this was the magazine actually that I was featured in. This is actually where I went to college, and they did a little article on me, which was kind of fun. And then I just got my letterboard, some books from my publisher, that other books that they've published, a little crochet book. And then, yes, this belongs in the kitchen, but I was using this at one point for pom-poms and my kids, kind of like a little sensory activity. So just random kid stuff back when they were in my office with me more frequently, which they aren't so much anymore. And then down here we've got some fun stuff that I don't really touch very often. I have these postcards that I'll use to write like thank you notes on and stuff. A hot glue gun, this giant stamp thing that has my Stuffies on here, but it didn't really work very well. It could just be the ink that I was using, I'm not sure, but I don't really use that very much. And then I have all of my thread and sewing stuff, which I actually used to sew my skeins of yarn together, which I don't do that anymore. I just use the lighter, but I just have this in here and haven't touched it in a while for my blankets. And in the bottom of here, again, miscellaneous stuff. If I need to cut paper, thank you cards, anything like that. Yeah, so just very miscellaneous stuff in here. Again, don't touch it very often. So that is what is in there. I feel like it would be better if I just reorganized this stuff, found a different spot for it, and then got rid of this. But that's all we have for now. And then up here, I have my sticker storage. I will link this down in the description. I love it so much. I do have sticker sheets with smaller stickers on it. And it was actually, I think, my husband's idea to add these little things so you know which sticker they are. But I only have it for 8 of my Stuffies, which is why there's only 8 of them. But thankfully they are clear bins so I can see through them. I love the sticker storage so much. I had like the perfect amount of storage for me and my stickers. This can be hung on the wall, but we just haven't gotten around to it. Plus there's not really much space on the wall to put this anyway. Maybe eventually we'll get it hung on the wall. Before this, I used to store my stickers kind of just in these clear containers, and I feel like having the little pull-out drawer has been so helpful and great for my stickers because I'm grabbing them often for the DIY kits and also just orders. So these 2 bins here are filled with yarn, of course. These are actually giant laundry bins or baskets. They are collapsible. I found them at Target. Again, I will link them. They're great for storing Stuffies or yarn. I was actually using these in a consignment shop that I'm no longer at, which is why I have them here, but I'll put a picture on the screen so you can see what I did for them. I basically put like a little wooden shelf above each of these. I think I had like 7 or 8 of them. So the Stuffie that was in each of these bins were displayed at the top on the wooden shelf, and then all the Stuffies were inside of it. But now I use it for yarn storage. It's a little bit messy right now, but I was basically using it for my mini whale and my mini bee DIY kits. But obviously it just has a bunch of scrap yarn in it now, so maybe eventually I will get it reorganized and I will use it for the purpose that it was supposed to be used for eventually at some point. I got these little pegboards up here, which I thought I was going to use them a lot more than I have been. I mainly use it for holding my sticky rollers, which works really well. And then a bunch of like my microphone stuff is in here as well. And then it's just miscellaneous stuff up there that I don't really grab very often. I think that these shelves are just a little bit too small. Pretty much just works for my sticky roller, so as long as I have that, I guess we're good to go. So over here on top, I just have some tote bags, a letter board. This is something that I use for markets. And then when things get busy, I like to use my whiteboard, so I just have that up here for now. And then this is a cabinet that I actually got off of TikTok shop. I think there is a very similar one on Amazon, so I'll see if I can link that for you. But I love this cabinet. It's magnetic, and I have all of my colorful yarn in here. I used to have a big box that was just downstairs in like our living area, filled with different color yarn. Eventually I moved it up here, and then there was also some just chilling in this big shelf over here, but it didn't look good when I was trying to organize it, so most of the colorful yarn is now in here and it is completely maxed out. And then down here I just have my scale and then my heat press. My heat press used for the DIY kits that come in a bag, so I use those to close it off. This is my giant yarn wall that I love so much. It holds so much yarn and so many other things, which I will get into. I love organizing this wall. You can fit about 10 skeins of yarn in here, depending on what size you get. And then of course, on top of here, I just have a ton more storage up there, and it can go all the way up to the ceiling. So I definitely do not regret getting this giant yarn storage here. It's from IKEA. It's called the Calyx yarn shelf, cube shelves. I think that this might be the biggest shelf that they have, but it's 25 cubes total. It is big, but I love it for my yarn storage. I love that it goes right up against the wall. And then of course, it just looks nice. It's a great backdrop if you're recording videos, and it's just easy access to the yarn. So I highly recommend this Calyx shelf from IKEA. And then over here as well, we've got some more storage, which I will take you up close and show you everything that's in there. So right next to the giant yarn shelf, I do have this storage here. I did replace the knobs with some knobs that I found at Home Goods. Up here, it's usually a little bit more messy. I usually put my camera, which is down here right now. That's usually just sitting right there, but I did need to hide that for a little bit. And then I have my logo sticker that goes in every order, and then little label tags for my stuffies. So this section right here is kind of my packing station, but this is where I'm grabbing often for when I'm packing orders. This up here, I'm not even going to open it. It's just some miscellaneous stuff full of receipts. I do think my felt eyes are in there for some of the stuffies that I use felt eyes on for. And then this right here is a lot of the stuff that I need for packing orders. I have, again, my logo sticker that goes on lots of different stuff in my packages. And then this is a sticker that the customers get, and if they want to use it, they can. More tags for the stuffies. Tape, of course, for taping the boxes. Measuring tapes. And then these are what I use for attaching the tag labels to these stuffies. So that's all that is in that one. In here right now is just my old laptop, which I still use for printing out labels, charger. What typically goes in here are thank you cards, which I do have an order coming very soon for those, but I am completely out. So if you've gotten an order for me recently and there hasn't been a thank you card in there, I am so sorry. But those should be here any day now, and I'm so excited to restock them and fill this bin back up with my thank you cards. Here, well, I just have an extra bag of polyfill, but other than that, I have my safety guidelines and care instructions card that also goes in orders. And then down here, I have my tissue paper and all of my polyfill bags that I need to use for DIY kits. Okay, and then moving on to this shelf, of course, we have all of the yarn up there. And then down here, we have all of the DIY kit stuff. So we have DIY kit bags, stickers, inserts that need to go inside of the DIY kits for getting to the video tutorial, and envelopes. So that's pretty much all that's down here. And then down in these boxes, we have lots of different stuff. This drawer is all of my measuring yarn for DIY kits. So these are pre-measured pieces of yarn that I use to measure out what needs to go in the kits. So lots of different bags for the different kits. Down here, I also have the same thing as well. So this one is obviously for the octopus. And then down here, I have poly mailers for my orders. In here, I'm not even sure what's in here. Oh, miscellaneous. Extra shipping labels, tape, extra rolls of the stickers. I even have a lot of trash bags in here. I actually use these for at markets when I used to sell blankets. They actually have handles on them and they're great for carrying, and of course they are waterproof as well. So basically just office supplies in here. And then the next one we have more DIY kit supplies. This is where I keep my sticker sheet that I was talking about earlier and some more shipping stuff. In here, I have no idea what's in here. Oh, I got a Woobles at Joann when they were closing. I haven't done it yet, but maybe one day I will do it. I've got my keychains down here. And in this bag, I actually have some crocheted scrunchies. This was from quite a few years ago now at this point, and it has my old logo on it, Sab's Blankets. So I just have those stored in here, and I actually use them to put on my guest bed over here for my guests. So I don't sell them anymore, but they're just for friends and family. And then other than that, it's just miscellaneous random stuff in there. And then the two bins in here, they are packed filled with scrap yarn, completely full. Like I can hardly pull it out. It's just completely full of scrap yarn, and that's both of those in there. So I've got lots of scrap yarn everywhere. And then moving right along to the bed right here, it's just a bed. And then we have our little basket here for when guests come, which is usually not on the bed. And then up here we have some two off-center little decor baskets up there because we never moved them when we shifted the bed over. Once we got this shelved, we had to move the bed over a little bit so I can access the yarn a little bit easier. So the bed was centered with those two decor baskets up there, and now it's not, and we just have never moved those baskets. So, and then a quick note on the bed, because I feel like every once in a while I get this comment about the fact that I knit or pack orders on this bed over here. This is not my personal bed that I sleep in, and we do not have guests very often, but when we do have guests, of course the beds are clean. Everything is kept clean in here. It's just basically another tabletop for me. Just a little disclaimer in there that this bed is kept clean 100% of the time. Okay, so moving along to this table right here, this is where all the recording happens. So I'm sure if you've done any of my video tutorials, You may have seen this in some of my videos at some point. I'm not sure when. It got a little bit damaged. It's kind of like my signature in my video tutorials now, but yeah, this is kind of where the magic happens for recording video tutorials, and then of course printing shipping labels for all of my orders. Other than that, it's just a little desk. And then we've got a chair, which my son, if you've seen on my Instagram, has famously drawn all over. He actually drew all over the desk as well. I've gotten it off the desk. I haven't bothered with the seat yet. But this is a blanket that I just have in my office. I made this blanket about 1.5 years ago, and after about a year I decided to just keep it for myself, to not even try to sell it, because I loved it and I've only ever kept one blanket for myself, which was the very first blanket that I made. So this one is now a part of my office, which I love. So before moving on to this chaotic storage closet, here we have just my second yarn wall. This yarn wall is specifically for all of the yarn for my blanket DIY kits. We just got it all organized, which is why it looks so pretty right now. And then right here is just another storage bin. Right now it's filled with fall stuffies. It's also a little bit of a sneak peek of what is to come, because I haven't actually announced or shown any of those stuffies yet. So don't look too closely. Announcement coming soon. All right, let's get into this storage closet. Okay, so a quick disclaimer before I even open the storage closet. It is a giant mess, and I don't think you're even prepared for what it looks like inside. So basically we had to clean up this room and make it spotless for a reason that I will share at a later date. Hopefully within the next few videos you will find out. I've actually announced that reason over on my Patreon. If you wanted to join my Patreon, I'll leave that link in the description. My Patreon is basically all the behind the scenes of my business. I update you at least once a day of everything that's going on in my business and family events, life events that affect my business. So I do a lot of sneak peeks, early access, discount codes over there. Like these fall stuffies have already been announced and shown over on my Patreon. So if that's something you're interested in, you can definitely sign up and join. There's 2 different tier levels that you can be a part of. So with that being said, and without further ado, let me show you my chaotic closet. I told you that you wouldn't be prepared for the chaos. So everything is basically stacked up almost to the ceiling in there. It is crazy. I promise you this is actually the first time the closet has actually looked that bad and that crazy. But basically what's in there is lots of stuffies. I have a ton of stuffies from all of the different pattern designing that I've been doing. I haven't been doing any markets this summer. I did one market in the spring, which is very unusual for me. So I have a ton of stuffies in there, which is like these bags here, which is usually kind of spread out on the floor as well. And then beyond the stuffies, I have extra yarn for my blanket DIY kits that are in there. I think I have like 2 of those giant 10-pound bags of polyfill in there. All of my shipping boxes are in there. And then beyond that, I have my accessories in there that I also sell, which are my tote bags and my knit supply pouches. And then I also have a bunch of different market stuff in there as well, like tablecloths and different display items. So things are way beyond maxed out in there, and I'm just going to close that now. You can choose to unsee that if you would like. So all of this open space in front of me is actually not typical. I usually have that kind of stuff out here, and then that way I can access like the shipping boxes back there. But since I had the office all picked up, or I should say shoved into my closet right there, I figured it was time to do an office tour. I do have a lot more fun stuff coming up, hopefully in the near future, especially where I share what is going to be happening with my office. There are definitely changes that are going to be coming soon, which I'm really excited for, and I hope that is just going to allow Sab Stuffies to continue to grow. I'm definitely outgrowing this space, especially with all of the yarn and different supplies that I need to keep things moving along, especially in terms of getting orders and packing orders. So believe it or not, that is not all of the Sab Stuffies supplies that I have. I have a ton of other supplies in our storage unit and some in the car right now because, again, I needed all of those supplies out of my office for a little bit of time. So that is the end of my office tour. I hope you enjoyed going through kind of what my office looks like and the chaos as well. I'd love to know what you think, so leave me a comment down below, and then also let me know if you have any questions and I'd be happy to answer them for you. Bye!